Hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of Daily Dose of Mythos. And this video, we're going to be talking about the great King Midas, the one whose touch turns everything to gold, the man who was cursed with wealth itself. We're going to talk about why, how, and how. Why? Well, let's get started. The Gold Man. Who was he? He was king of. Fucking hell, it's so difficult to pronounce. Phrygia. Okay, I'll just go to Phrygia. He was a wealthy, powerful man. He was. Let's just say he was not really evil. He was not corrupted. He was just like obsessed with the wealth, luxury, status, and gold. That's all he was. He was just greedy, man. He was just greedy. He is greed's personification in Greek. Okay? But how does he get his power? He's just an ordinary king. Not an ordinary king. He's a powerful king who's just obsessed with wealth. How does he get his famous, now known powers? The Midas powers. If you tell anyone, oh, Midas' touch. It's called Midas' touch now. It's just turning things to gold. I learned a lot from this story, but we'll speak about that in the end, okay? But yeah, how does Midas get what is his power? Well, he helps Dionysus, or whatever, how you spell that, but you got what I said. He did a good deed for Dionysus, and so Dionysus was like, oh, okay, I'll give you a reward, tell me what you want. And Midas is like, everything I touch turns to gold. And Dionysus is supposed to like, oh, you want that? You can have it. Now starts the fun. At first it's really fun. He touches something. Perhaps he can touch this lighter and it turns to gold. The fire turns to gold maybe. I don't know. Everything turns to gold. But, yes. Slowly he realizes that everything he touches turns to gold, not just what he wants. Food, water, everything turns to gold, and so he can't consume anything. But there is a fucked up version of this where he touches his daughter. What do you think he gets? He gets a gold statue of his daughter. Isn't that wonderful, guys? That is so fucked up. So yeah, in some versions he touches his daughter and he kills her instantly by turning it to gold. Oh, that's his favorite thing, isn't it? Favorite, gold. You can see sometimes this is how obsession, yeah, gets fucked up, yeah. And this made him realize, he begs to Dionysus, please help me get rid of this curse. Now, he called it a boon. Before, when he was touching everything he liked and turned it all to gold, he was so happy. But he realized it's a curse when not only can he was starving to death, but maybe some people could have fed him, but like, he turned his daughter to gold. Okay, that is just sad and fucked up. But he did get a gold statue of his daughter. He could gift her when she's in hell. Anyways, she's probably going to heaven. She was a kid, I think. So yeah, he begs Dionysus and he's like, okay, you just have to wash it in the Pactolus river. Okay? And Dionysus decides, okay, let's do that. And he washes his hands. And so his curse vanishes. Well, the boon vanishes. He was just dumb enough. But the boon vanishes and the river is now filled with gold. Well, rich in gold. And hence the legend. People still think there's gold mineral because there is gold minerals in deposits there. They think, yeah. Anyways, but there is a lesser known story of Midas. After this, Midas does another stupid thing. Midas becomes a judge for a music contest. It is Apollo was a satyr named what is his name again? Midas. Okay, Midas. Both of these guys go 1v1, okay? But obviously, Apollo being a god is better. He's clearly superior. You could just, if someone hears about them doing the music, you just be like, oh, Apollo's better. But Midas decides to be a bitch and say, oh, no, 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 no. Midas is better. He's better, not you, Apollo. He's better. And this obviously offends Apollo. Well, even if he was bad at it, I think he would still be offended because he's obviously a god. You need to respect a god. But anyways, he does this. He does the stupidest thing you could do, offend a god. And what does he get? He punishes Midas with something so beautiful. He gets donkey ears, okay? He punishes him with fucking donkey ears. Imagine you're a king and you have donkey ears. You're gonna be etched into history, known as, like, the Midas touch is gonna go, but the donkey ears is gonna remain. Imagine. They're like, oh, Midas? Oh, no, 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 not the gold touch. It's donkey ears. Anyways, well, he hides it by wearing his crown. But surprisingly, only his barber knows. And the man can't hold it in. Imagine a man with donkey ears, bro. Yeah. Yeah. So he can't hold it any longer. The barber bends down and he sets it to the ground. And from there, reeds grow which say that King Midas has donkey ears. Okay, that's the end of both of the stories. But here we have something really specific. You would think the lesson from this you should take is, oh, greed is bad. Oh no. Oh no, you are a fucking idiot. If you think that's what you take from this. No, you idiots. He was an idiot to do that. Why would you want to touch everything that's physical? You would have said something like, oh, you should be specific, idiot. You should be like, oh, maybe, okay, let's just not go in specific. Like, only this finger that I touch turns everything to gold. The rest doesn't do anything, okay? Maybe even, okay, let's leave another option. Maybe one of his hands touch and make it gold. Another touch and makes it normal again. So that he could actually fucking eat. Whichever hand he eats with is the hand that turns everything to normal. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. Okay, let's even leave that part, okay? We're gonna leave that part. He just has to say, yeah, I get the man is obsessed with gold, okay? He says, whatever I touch and wish to turn it into gold, it turns into gold. That is more simpler, but a tougher thing to think. But yeah, he could have done that too. So, what does this show? Yes, you have greed. You're obsessed with something or someone. Don't be stupid. Don't let the obsession block your eyes. No. You're gonna use that obsession to fuel yourself. You're gonna fuel yourself to make yourself better. Find other ways. You know, he could have asked some like kind of superpower and he could have destroyed all the other nations and got all the gold from there. He could have done that also, but he was not really evil, so we can't say he could have done that too. But there's so many other ways he could have done that. Maybe he could have got a pot that just always, whenever you take out gold coins out, it fills with more gold coins. That's also a good thing, isn't it? Oh, that's a really good one. Wow. Is there another myth going by that way? Probably is, because that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. So yeah, these are things he could have done better, but well, Midas suffered for his stupidity. Oh, I didn't show the drawing this time. Look. This is Midas, and this is just gold coins and gold and stuff. His hand is just touching anything, it just turns to gold here. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I know. I'm sorry you guys didn't get to see it before. I know you guys missed that handsome drawing of mine. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Don't be stupid, I guess. Maybe wait. Golden flames.